Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. And they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name.
Will, do you want to break it to him or shall I?
I already did that one while you were away.
When?
Like 3 weeks ago.
I really should listen to the podcast.
You
back
really
when I'm
should,
not there.
yeah. Should at the very least check out what theme tunes we used.
Duly noted.
Oh, at least I beat you to that one.
I think we've... Is this the podcast ruin then?
Yeah, I guess that's it. Pack up, go home, guys. No more podcast this week. We can't continue with a failed theme tune.
I am very sorry to the 6 or 7 people that listen to this.
Alternatively, if anybody wants to sort of sample that now and make some sort of remix, you've now got 2 different versions of the song to work with.
Oh my god.
Because there was a demand for Cheers songs in 2015.
Button mash Cheers mashup songs, yes.
Can we call Ted Danson and maybe have him as a podcast guest?
I'm on the phone right now.
He hasn't done anything since, right?
I don't know who he is.
Oh,
You know what I'm like with
television
actors.
in general, yeah.
People.
Actors, just broadly speaking, yeah. Ted Danson. What is Ted Danson? Who is Ted Danson is more interesting to me. Best known for Cheers, surprisingly enough. Well, I didn't see that one coming.
Would you have liked it if I'd said like Will Smith or something, just made it really random?
Yeah, I would probably have believed you, to be honest.
Will Smith was in Cheers, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know any difference.
I do.
Would have been a very different show.
Apparently, yes, he is currently in CSI, a couple of different versions of CSI. He's D.B. Russell in CSI.
Good.
Well for himself then.
He was in American Dad for 1 episode as Dr. Ray Petite, the shrink.
Good for you, Ted Danson. Good for you. I'm glad you're finding work.
He was in Fargo. He was in Couples Therapy. He was in The One I Love. Actually, there's a lot of things that seem to revolve around therapy here. There's a recurring theme here.
Well, he was an alcoholic in Cheers, so maybe he hasn't quite kicked the habit yet.
Right, and he's
Just keep
channeling
going
that
into
energy
therapy.
into giving people therapy or something. He's a lot of these half these roles are just like he's playing the therapist or something. It's like what? Okay.
He's got experience.
Well, there you go. Okay, that's what he's done. I still don't know who he is. Anyway, welcome to the Button Mash Podcast. We managed to talk about Ted Danson for 3 minutes somehow. We're going to talk about video games, maybe, around Ted Danson and possibly Barry Chuckle.
Maybe.
Yeah. We'll be here for a couple of hours talking about video games and video game accessories. I'm joined by Michael.
Hello.
And by Will,
Hello.
who have both sung the theme tune at some point in the past.
It's all we're good for.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about video game experiences for last week, and then we're going to go and take a break, and after the break we'll come back and bring some gaming news and upcoming gaming releases. That's what you
Sounds
can
like a
expect.
plan.
Yep.
I mean, we've done it every week, so you should be used to it.
Why break the habit of... I was going to say a lifetime, but it's only been 38
Forever.
weeks.
Can we just do it in a different order one week, just to try and throw people off?
Maybe. Maybe
Okay.
for like our anniversary or something.
Good God, if we ever get to an anniversary.
Hey, we're up to week 38, so we ain't so far off, to be entirely fair.
Well,
We have been doing this for a large chunk of a year at this stage.
Good Lord.
Indeed. So what's everyone's gaming experiences been for the past week? Was there any kind of events going on that might have involved some games or anything?
I'm not sure. What do you mean? I was walking out on Friday and I did happen to see something in the local paper.
Oh God. You don't read that old thing, do you, really?
The Telegraph and Argus of Bradford is a fine paper, but something did catch
Grateful.
my eye.
Was it some more of their shoddy journalism talking about the latest claptrap that's on at the Bradford Playhouse?
No,
Bite the hand that feeds you while you're here.
yeah. No. Oh, it was a certain article about a certain event which will never be covered in any future now that once this is out.
I'm sure the Telegraph and Argus are avid listeners of the Button Mash podcast.
They're listening right now.
Why do you think they got a follow-up article?
Oh right, yeah, sorry, because we gave them so many shout-outs in our previous podcast that they owed us one.
We're going to have to do segues to the Telegraph and Argus now. But yeah, back to the story that I started there. Yes, there was a certain article in this fine newspaper, which we would apologise profusely, because the views of the Button Mash host are solely his, and he's an ungrateful man. Yes, it was an article about an event that happened this Saturday, which was our Button Mash 11, which I'm pleased to say was highly successful. In fact, it's been the most successful event that we've run since we started Button Mash up with our Kickstarter. So, if you're listening and you happen to attend the event, we thank you very much for your support. We do put a lot of effort into these events, or, well, more accurately, John and Suresh put a lot of effort into these events. And it is really, really appreciated, and we can't do things about this, and thank you for your loyalty and support, and we are truly appreciative, and we will look to hopefully be back in the future.
Thank you for reading your speech, President.
Hey, I am the president. You're the captain.
You said, although you want one factual inaccuracy.
Oh, there's always one.
Yeah, you said since the pod.
I am the
No,
president.
it's not the podcast. You said since the Kickstarter. The Kickstarter, I don't think it was even as successful as this one. I think the most successful, based on dubious records, is December 2010. Button Mash 1, the first, the original.
I was taking into account the fact that we'd taken the break between them, so since we started doing this.
I would say
again.
since the new management
factual
takeover
accuracy,
thing, it's the most successful one to date. I would say.
Somebody start a Wikipedia page for our events. Let us know how they've been doing.
Oh God.
Button Mash has its own Wikipedia page. That was the dream.
Yeah.
But again,
Until some scoundrel vandalizes it.
But Barry Chuckle probably.
Probably, yes. He saw what we read out of his Wikipedia page last week. Or whatever it was.
Hey, we're keeping him in the press. We're actively plugging Chuckle Towards, or whatever it's called.
Oh God, yes. Whatever it was, yes. We're keeping him in business, clearly. Everybody who bought a ticket to Chuckles in Oz, or whatever it is, did so off the back of the podcast, clearly.
We should get a commission on that.
We really should, yes. Well, better get in touch with Barry Chuckle's agent.
Well, let me just check if Barry Chuckle's alive.
Must be the best agent in the world to keep him in business.
Well,
at this point, I am his agent.
Yeah, that's true. You should just be taking a cut of every acting job he gets.
Right, give me the drum roll for Barry Chuckle. Good news, he's alive.
Way! Congratulations, Barry Chuckle. I still have no idea how bad that sounds on my microphone when
It's
I
pretty
record
bad.
it. Great. I should just invest in a drum.
We should have a soundboard.
Why don't you use the Donkey Kong bongos?
I was just going to say, I bought a pair of Donkey Konga bongos. I could just get those out.
But he has no intention of playing the game.
Well, I played the game at Button Mash. I played like 2 songs, and then went off to actually continue setting things up. And then I think the first person to sit down at the GameCube promptly unplugged them and fired up Smash Brothers instead.
Our audience knows what it likes.
Yeah. I need to find some way to force people to play it.
Shall we talk about the triumph that was Cornhole?
Well, your phrasing needs some work there, I think, but we could.
Shall we talk about the game that we had called Cornhole?
Yes. We sort of imported that one from the Merokas, I think. After heading over to PAX and Boston and whatnot back in March, we had the chance to play a traditional American bar game by the name of Cornhole, which involves throwing beanbags into small holes, if you're not familiar with it.
Our success rate was patchy at best.
Yours was.
Okay, no, I was atrocious. I nearly killed someone.
With a beanbag.
And when you knock over a little old woman with a beanbag, you're a terrible person.
Yes, you are.
Is it just like an underarm throw into the hole? Is that the whole premise?
Traditionally, yes.
Can we not make some kind of trebuchet?
I was going to say, there were some alternative throwing styles. One guy seemed to basically take it upon himself to bowl them. He basically kind of seemed to skim the beanbag along the floor, and I was like, I'm not sure where the rules stand on that one. Admittedly, his success rate was low. So someone placed his successful rate of actually landing the beanbags on the board at all at about 20%.
It wasn't really in the spirit of the game.
It's not a standard cornhole traditional throw, really. But that said, our setup was kind of non-standard as well. We went onto the American Cornhole Association's official website for the official regulations, because that actually exists.
Yeah, that is a thing.
Apparently, the distance you're supposed to throw a beanbag from into this 6-inch wide hole is 30 feet away.
Which was physically impossible considering the space we're in.
No, it wasn't. No, we measured that out. We did measure 30 feet out, but you were standing like at the other end of the room. You
would have had to have thrown your beanbag over everyone ordering a drink at the bar.
I was going to say, it was. I mean, I guess if you're not there, you don't have any frame of reference. But Michael can obviously, for Michael's benefit, yes, you were pretty much stood at the right-hand side of the bar, throwing along the entire length of the bar, then across the entire length of the room on the left-hand side to get to the hole. It was quite a throw.
Unless you were a Bulgarian shot putter, you had no chance.
I mean, I had a go. I was like, I could kind of like ding the board, but getting anything to consistently land on it would not have been easy, and I don't think I would ever actually gotten a cornhole, as it were. I think the regulation, the alternative lesser regulation, the sort of the shorter court that can be allowed if everybody agrees to use a shorter court, is 21 feet. Which was still surprisingly lengthy. I think we used about 19 feet in the end as a throwing distance, which is frowned upon by the ACA, I imagine. Using one of those non-regulation 19-foot courts. But that was the distance that, it seemed reasonable, doable, and we weren't occupying the entire bar space while trying to throw beanbags at small holes.
Never be welcome in any American bar ever again.
That's those guys who only used a 19-foot course. Get out! We don't want you.
Boo them!
I think there's other things that we've said about American culture that might take preference over cornhole regulations.
Oh, your guns.
You don't know how high the Americans hold those cornhole standards. There's the pride of American culture there.
This is how they pick presidents.
Yes, basically, yeah. You get the Republican candidates and Democrat candidates face off in a regulation 30-foot court to play cornhole together, and the winner, the first to 15 points, gets the presidency.
I just figured that would be how voters cast their vote into the cornhole.
There are two holes, one labelled red, one labelled blue, and you have to throw your beanbag into the hole that you want to vote for.
And if you miss, that's just your vote disqualified.
Yeah, it's like, that's a wasted vote if you miss, yeah.
No, it counts for the other guy.
Oh, that's an independent vote.
Oh my god, politics makes so much sense now.
That's the respect party. If you miss, that's a vote for George Galloway.
Oh god.
I guess by those standards, if that actually worked, independent parties would be getting elected all over the place.
You don't know, we might just be a nation of really good throwers.
Well, I suppose, yeah, like I say again, it's obviously very popular over the pond, so, the rate of actually scoring cornholes over there will be much higher, so...
Everyone plays baseball, so they've all got a good throw.
Yeah, that must be it, clearly. It's baseball, cornhole, the pitch is basically identical.
Same thing.
Yeah. I mean, you put a beanbag into a pitching machine, it fires it exactly the same way, if you just want to practice.
We need a croquet equivalent.
Right, yes, okay.
just for reference and an assurance to all our fans, we will not be introducing croquet into match events.
Aww.
Well,
You say that.
you say that, but now that you mention it,
Well,
you can get little sort of indoor like lawn croquet things that don't involve spikes. We don't have to put any holes in the floor, do we? We can get something that'll work.
And inflatable flamingos.
And inflatable flamingos, yes.
we've
Okay,
had those without the croquet before.
I think we've just found the final of the mashup tournament next time around.
Oh, the croquet.
Yeah, croquet.
Excellent.
Yes, so, because I don't think we figured this out in full detail, but if you want to find out more about our events, you can find that information out on the TNA. I think it's still online, I believe. I think
It will be, yeah. They put it on the internet and it stays there, which means it can never be deleted.
if you're curious to see what Meroka looks like, you can see several photos of him, and a photo of my eyes, really close.
Being lit up by a screen that says Super Mario Bros. 3.
It's wonderfully artistic, but yeah, if you want to go to check out the Telegraph and Argos online, you should be able to find out a little more information about what we do.
Yep.
And
Or if you
enjoy it
just wanna
before it
see-
gets enjoy it before it gets taken down, thanks to John.
Before I send a cease and desist and ask them to take down those terrible pictures of me. How dare they?
You're a handsome, handsome man.
I was gonna say, I look wild-eyed and crazy in the first article, and I just look like I don't know what I'm doing in the second article.
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay, it's pretty accurate. Yeah, that's
What have,
fair.
what have you been playing outside of the Button Mash event this week, John?
What have I been playing? I'm playing a ton of Sky Saga. And don't pretend you didn't realise this.
You have a problem, you need help.
I actually do, yes.
I've managed to escape. I don't know how. I haven't actually played it in 2 weeks.
I need to log on and do all the daily quests every day.
Is this a World of Warcraft you've got a patch on, Will?
Yes.
You looked outside and realised there's a window and there's an outside world you can visit from time to time.
Well, no. Unfortunately, I slipped and I somehow managed to buy a bunch of Warhammer 40k. And
Oh, no.
that has taken up a lot of my last 2 weeks.
Alright.
Just sculpting.
Fair enough. Okay, well, that's an expensive hobby, but go for it.
It is entirely
I
expensive.
think Sky Saga is cheaper.
At the moment.
At the moment.
You say
yeah.
that at the moment.
Well, yes. Well, if it becomes expensive, I will quit.
Yes.
I mean, at the minute, I'm still just looking for that dagger recipe.
Have
You'll
you not
never
found
find
that
it.
yet?
I probably won't find it. No, I don't know if it's even in the game.
Daggers just fall from the sky. They naturally occur. You cannot make them.
I found one. I've literally only had one drop from an enemy. I found one. It was like some other guy killed a knight or whatever that was carrying it, and he's wandered off and left the dagger there. And I was like, that guy left a dagger. that's a dagger. You just I'll have that. I'm taking that. I'll have the dagger. That's the first and only dagger I've seen drop in this game, and you're leaving it on the floor. I'll have it. Yes.
Maybe he was tired of his dagger. Maybe he'd buttered his toast with it or something and just thought,
It's
I've
some
had enough of
bread.
this dagger.
I did find a falchion recipe which saves me 50,000 knots.
What?
I know.
Where?
I found it in a loot chest. It's just there. It's like, oh
What?
hey, falchion recipe. Sure, okay, I'll take that.
Oh my god, that's... You jammy bastard.
So you're not questing for stuff, you're just finding it randomly.
That's much of the nature of the game. Yes,
Oh, okay.
quite a considerable amount of the things that you get will be found. I mean, for some reason in Alpha 4, it's like early on it seemed like it was really, really difficult to get recipes for anything. And then the last 2 or 3 days, I've kind of actually found considerably more recipes than I had previously. I'm finding, not frequently, but occasionally recipes for furniture and things. So I can actually start decorating my house and stuff a little bit. I can make a sarcophagus.
Which is what every house needs.
Yeah, decorative sarcophagi.
Is it becoming a little bit more viable again?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if they've tweaked anything there or if I just got really unlucky for the first while and then they've actually changed it, or I don't know. Who knows? Who can fathom the ways of the developers? But, you know, if they'd want to just tweak the drop rates on that dagger recipe, I'd be a really happy man.
Well, someone give him the dagger recipe in the comments. If you happen to have it, give it to John.
Please, I will buy it from you for large amounts of abyssium.
I may have to drop by the game, earn lots for materials, and get you to make me a couple falchions.
I have enough abyssium to make one abyssium falchion.
Wow.
Am I gonna have to call Ted Danson to give you 2 therapy to break this addiction?
Yes. But yeah, it's 72 abyssium. And
wow.
70. I think it's 72 abyssium just to make to make the plates for it. If you wanted to make it, it uses 24 metal plates and is it 10 maybe metal rods? If you wanted to make that out of abyssium as well, that's even more. I'm not going to do that. I'll probably make that out of gold actually.
That's more metal than a halberd, isn't it?
Probably yes.
Are they just folding this abyssium over and over like katanas?
Basically, yeah. That's the only way that could possibly make any sense. Also, if when I finally make this sword, because I don't have the right coloured crystals and enough of them that I want to make a falchion yet. Also, I would really like 2 of them as well. I was like, if they don't last forever, I'm going to be really annoyed. Because I made 2 Sunsteel ones, and they took a ridiculous amount of work to make, and it's like, they haven't lasted me anywhere near as long as I would have liked. They're both, like, nearly worn out now, and I'm like, I have used up 2 entire falchions here.
That's a lot to repair as well.
Yeah, because it takes the same amount of materials again. It's like, I mean, I can do it. I have the materials to repair it, but it's a lot. That's a lot of material.
You kind of have to keep on top of that, just bit by bit.
I guess, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it's just like, I couldn't possibly fathom farming 144 abyssium to make it, and then them breaking and needing 144 more abyssium. That's just silly talk.
No, that has to be balanced at some point.
Yeah, I think the thing that falchion just is too expensive for what it is.
Yeah, definitely. It's effective.
It's a very nice weapon. It's a very pretty weapon. I mean, a little bit of me was like, oh, I could use cyan gems because I like cyan. I was like, actually, cyan crystals are actually kind of rare.
Yeah.
I don't seem to have many of them.
Oh god, and if you don't have them when you need to repair the thing, that's you sodded.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit of me wanted to go down the route of making the red crystals, but then it's like you get 1 red crystal at a time as a rare drop from the firewolves. Yeah.
I think I'll just go with green. Green or blue.
I mean, I think it's 4 gems per sword as well, so it's like I need 8 super frickin' rare gems just to make these once over. And then if it needs repairing again, I'll need them all again. Also,
no.
One thing I have noted is that bows just don't seem to last very long at all.
They really don't.
I hadn't really used them until like yesterday, and then I was trying out. It was like, because I got a quest that was like, oh, kill 10 things with a bow, and I was like, okay, time to play with the bow for a bit because I haven't really done that yet. And it's like it broke before I could kill 10 things. It was like, well, okay then. Swords. Okay, swords it is. Yeah.
That's why I kind of stopped using the bow. It just didn't have any kind of effectiveness.
It's like, I mean, you can see the health bar on the bow just deplete by a chunk with every shot you fire. It's like, that's going down really fast. It wasn't even an exotic one. I mean, I've saw someone complaining on the forums. They're like, "Oh yeah, if you make the bows out of exotic materials, it doesn't last very long at all." And it's like, "Oh well, that makes sense because it's probably more powerful." It's like, I will make it out of iron. That way, it will last. No, even the iron bow just broke in no time at all. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. So again, that feels like, I don't know. That feels like someone's just missed a 0 off something. In terms of like item durability, it's like, oh yes, this item is supposed to have like 1,000 durability. It's like only got 100 or something. I don't know.
We can only hope.
Yeah, it'll hopefully get tweaked, I would have thought. But yeah, I started fixing up my house because I wanted to actually do that. More so than actually going on quests. I've seen most things. I still haven't actually. I still need to go do a hive at some point.
Oh yeah.
So that's a thing to do at some point. I'll probably make a video out of that if I can find one at some stage.
So it's pretty fun. It's got plenty of ranged enemies inside that just spit stuff at you.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I was going to say a thing and I've forgotten what I was going to say now. So
That thing will return to you if you let it fester.
yeah, potentially. I've been playing WildStar because I had the free trial, and the free trial, allowed me to buy a subscription while I was in game on the trial, because that's kind of how it works. So I was like, oh well, I've got another month of free subscription now, so that'll do me. And I suppose in relevant news, WildStar have just announced they're going free to play in a couple of months' time. And anybody who maintains a subscription through till then gets a lot of fun toys and cosmetics and things. So I guess I'm now committed to subscribing one way or another for the next couple months or so.
Well, you're the spokesman for WildStar now, so yeah.
Yeah, well, the cost of buying Cred, the subscription service, in-game with in-game money, the cost of that's gone up dramatically since last time I played. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to get that much money for it now. I mean, last I played, it was like about 17 platinum to buy it, which was like, that's not unreasonable. You can fairly easily farm that within the space of a month. It's probably even more than that if you play it to any great extent. Now it's nearer to 30 platinum, and I'm like, I'm not confident I can farm that much money in the game in a month, not without playing it considerably more than I do. And I'm still just kind of at a casually getting back into it stage, of sort of seeing the new content that they've added and stuff, that kind of thing. Because they've added a whole new zone to it, and I don't know, I've been working my way around that for the last couple of days, and it's like, it's very, I don't know, it doesn't feel very structured, that zone. There's a lot of things to do in it, but it's all just kind of, wander around, see the things. Normally it's like, here's a quest, do the thing. Okay, next quest, do the next thing. Okay, next quest, do the next thing. You kind of work your way through a bit of a narrative. Here it was just like, oh yeah, there's some bad guys over there, you should probably kill those guys. Oh, and then when you're done, there's some trouble over there, and then, yeah, there's some bosses dotted about the place if you want to do the bosses at some point. When there's a climbing challenge up that wall, do you want to go climb the wall? It's like, there's not really any, I don't know, it doesn't feel like I'm being driven anywhere. It's just sort of a big playground full of nasties. It's not bad, it's just kind of strange.
Not as plot driven as you'd like.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And I mean, every other new bit of the game they've had in the past has been like, it's been furthering the story. It's been like, oh, the story is moving forward, the things are happening, and this is all part of this major world narrative kind of thing. This one, I guess, I don't think this one actually ties into the narrative in any way, shape, or form. It's just kind of there. If it's part of the narrative, I'm not getting the impression that it is. I mean, the last zone they added started out with some narrative stuff and then kind of just ended up with you ended up at a town which had a bunch of daily quests. It was like, here, do some story, do some story, do some story, and here's 10 daily quests, do them for the rest of time. And that's just kind of where it ended. There was, one of the daily quests was, actually there were two pretty fairly sizable epic daily quests in there that were fairly noteworthy. And they added that one weekly mission that you could do, which was to go and I talked about this before at the time. It's the one that runs parallel to a fictional raid team defeating the final boss of the game.
Oh yeah,
which actually has been defeated now, by the way. Avatus has actually finally been defeated after considerable nerfs, I think, to quite a lot of the stuff in the final raid. That was downed a while back, and yeah, so I guess with the Omnicore running alongside that, and then people actually killing a boss, it's like, well, now they're into the territory where they need to, I guess they now need to move into kind of a sort of expansion kind of deal. They need to be like, okay, now we need a new narrative and a new thing to drive towards.
Oh, maybe you just need to stop your adventuring days, settle down, and have 2.5 kids.
Yep.
Well,
it's done.
Yeah, it's
finished.
No, No.
It's time to walk into adulthood.
It's going free to play. That's the end.
Well, hopefully not. I mean, it sounds like they want to do it right, but I've heard that from other people before as well. Everybody who does free to play claims they want to do free to play right. I don't think it's a very good press quote, a soundbite to say, "Oh yeah, we want to gouge our player base for as much money as we can possibly make." Sounds much better to say, "Oh, we think everybody else does free to play wrong. We're doing it right." So, I know they're going to continue having subscription as an option, which will get you perks and stuff in-game. And, yeah, I guess they'll sell you a lot of cosmetics. Hats for everybody.
Free hats for all.
It's not free hats. It's a free-to-play game. They won't be free hats. Well, they might be free hats, but you'd be grindy hats if you want the free hats.
Hats at a reasonable price.
Potentially at a reasonable price.
Hats at outrageous rates.
That's Team Fortress 2.
I'm just going to be quiet now.
Well, and now I'm intrigued as to what's the most expensive hat in TF2 now.
I've opened a can of worms now.
Yeah, it's just because, most expensive hat in TF2. It is a good... Yeah, there we go. Just because, people are always buying silly things. Yeah, there was the $5,500 Burning Team Captain at one point, apparently.
Is that dollar as in proper dollar? Like actual money?
As in actual money, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Some people.
Yep. Although I actually now that I say that, I have heard tell that some of the stuff in Dota is actually now more expensive than the stuff there was in TF2. Because, I mean, TF2 was always the benchmark. People were like, people are paying silly money for virtual things. What the hell, guys? And now in Dota, people just keep paying more and more expensive things. In fact, I found a wonderful Cracked article here which says that there's games I haven't even heard of that have things for more expensive than that. Because there is a game called Age of Wulin, which sold an item called the Unseen Sword, I guess, for $20,000.
Please tell me it was invisible.
I hope so.
They just crafted a sword that you can't even see in game.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know if they
that's 20 grand.
I don't know if they might have just nicknamed it the Unseen Sword because they literally hadn't actually designed it yet for the game. Right. It was bought before they'd even designed the game.
Maybe it was an Emperor's New Clothes kind of thing. Where it's like, oh yeah, you're definitely holding a sword. Yeah, you've definitely bought one.
Maybe. There are Cracked has some strange pictures going on. Now I need to know Dota. Most expensive item in Dota.
I thought Spiral Knights was bad.
Oh god, no, but people don't buy things for real money in Spiral Knights.
I know, but in terms of crowns versus, Crystal Energy, which you do buy.
I guess. I'm trying to find... The problem with this is finding things that are relevant, because it was like, the people have been talking about these for years. I mean, I've got an article from... Oh, Jesus Christ. I've got an article from 2013 here, which is talking about selling an item for $38,000 in Dota 2. Which is just silly talk.
Some people have too much money.
Yeah. They really do. And now a little bit of me is now also thinking, what the heck's going on with Star Citizen? August 2014, there's somebody who doesn't speak very good English saying chicken pink chicken $42,000 for Dota.
No, that can't be right.
A pink chicken. It's a really good pink chicken. Apparently, I don't know.
It's the brightest shade of pink of all times. It's not worth 40 grand.
Does it have a pulley in the middle?
The way it must be. Surely only a chicken with a pulley in the middle would be so premium as to sell for $42,000. It would have to be literally a shade of pink that would blind your opponents as well. So neon that your opponents cannot see. Oh God, Star Citizen? This is an interesting topic, if nothing else, just to see how horrifying some people. Oh God, what? That's is that? I hope that's total cost. 200 imaginary spaceships sold for 250,000 in Star Citizen.
I want to track this person down and just tell him he's a moron.
I hope that's. I mean, I think it may. I think it may have been 2,500 a ship, but that's still too much. I think that may have been the developers selling it as well. I don't even think that's between players.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Robert Space Industries make the game. I think it's released the Javelin for $2,500. Only 200 of the ships were made available. And they all sold out within 5 minutes.
What is wrong with people?
What the hell? $2,500 ships sold out within 5 minutes. I can't even comprehend that scale. Like, at all. I can't fathom that kind of thing.
Well, people are
This is
morons.
a game that's not even out until next year.
People are really big morons.
Yeah. This had better be the best spaceship in existence. What makes this spaceship so good? Oh, I don't know. I don't even want to get into Star Citizen. Star Citizen is just terrifying.
Let's move on.
Oh, no, let's not, because I just found one that one-ups that.
Oh, go on then.
Is this... Yep, there is a package you can buy. I guess this is, again, an official one you can buy from the developers. You can buy the Completionist digital package for £12,600. I hope that's everything. I hope that is every spaceship in the game, including the £2,500 dollar, whatever it is, one. I really hope so, because that's...
For that money, I want my consciousness put into this game so that I can actually feel space.
I hope your consciousness comes with a spacesuit, because I imagine space would be painful otherwise.
Oh yeah, that's standard, guaranteed.
You literally move your consciousness into the game, and the first thing you feel is your skin blistering on the vacuum of space as your blood boils.
Just can't breathe.
Yes, and the air is ripped from your lungs.
That's the real experience that I am after.
That's what £12,600 gets you from Robert Space Industries.
And your head pops like a balloon now. If you believe those good old cartoons.
Well, I was going to say, I believe Arnold Schwarzenegger gave us the best demonstration of what happens in a vacuum.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Your eyes pop out of their sockets, and you look like a rubber prosthetic for a while, I guess.
Best movie ever.
Probably not the best.
Actually, no, Blade Runner.
I don't think I've actually seen Blade Runner.
So good.
I have heard that, and I've heard that about many things. I still don't watch them, so you know. Anyway, yes, now we may move on from the silly, expensive things. Was anyone else played?
I played a little bit of Magicka 2, and it is pretty much exactly the same as Magicka 1.
So, wise investment then?
Yeah, I still need people to play with.
Well,
That's what makes
therein
this
lies
game
the problem, I
fun.
suppose. So
You don't have to venture into strangers.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of how they get you, because they need you to buy 4 copies of the game in order to make the game good. Which is... you shouldn't have to buy 4 copies of a game to make a game good.
That's cross the streams on my own.
Well, you could if you have... Do you have local multiplayer?
Probably.
You're really adept with controllers.
It's difficult enough doing it with one controller.
Does it actually have controller support, actually? I was
Yes, it
thinking
does.
I was like, oh, right. I was thinking, because normally it's got like 8 buttons for the different spell things, and I'm like, Could you do that on a gamepad?
Apparently, I've not tried yet.
All right.
Hard enough on the keyboard.
I was just thinking it was like, I guess it's got 8 buttons, but you wouldn't have many left.
No.
Well, again, I suppose you wouldn't need many more because there's not much more to it than shoot spell.
Well, kind of, because you've got to either cast it as a beam, cast it on yourself, do an area effect, or cast it on your weapon.
Oh, Christ, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
So you kind of do run out of buttons at some point.
Right, fair enough.
I don't want to have to go to L3 and R3. I hate those buttons.
They're not really buttons.
They're not buttons.
How can we shoehorn more controls into this interface which is already cluttered?
Give me more buttons.
Well, I'm surprised they haven't taken, or more people haven't taken to putting buttons on the back, but I don't know. I guess I guess people have kind of tried that in the past. They've never really been terribly successful.
Go back to N64 where you had
I was thinking N64, yeah.
the trigger in the middle. That wasn't a bad controller. I liked it.
It wasn't. It always annoys me. Always annoys me when people are like, "How are you supposed to hold it? You don't have 3 hands." And I'm like, you have entirely failed to miss the point. To see the point of the controller. You've missed it entirely. That's not how the controller works. They weren't expecting you to be an alien. There are 3 prongs. Pick 2. Don't need all 3 at once. No game required you to use all 3 at once.
But some people like that choice.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I don't recall many games like at all that didn't just use the middle one on the right-hand side, because it was like you wanted an analog stick and you wanted the buttons. Nothing wanted a D-pad and buttons. They wanted analog stick and buttons. It was like, so to be fair, it was a little bit superfluous, which is probably why we have the controller that we have these days, because if you take away the left-hand side of the N64 controller, you've got something very similar to today's controller. So,
Yeah, that's fair.
More options, more controls, yes, give.
Yeah, I'd quite happily take an extra 2 buttons on the back.
I don't think that would hurt things too much.
No, just for the ring fingers.
It's not a very dexterous finger to use.
No.
I was thinking sort of middle finger, but I guess some people might use that for a trigger. I don't know. I can see where you're coming from.
I'm holding one now. I use my index for the triggers mostly.
Yeah, me too, but now I'm thinking about it, I could see how some people might want to use index fingers for bumpers and middle fingers for triggers, potentially. I don't feel like I would have enough dexterity in my ring finger to be able to use that to press a button competently. I don't know.
The solution is more fingers.
I feel like there was a controller that had like a kind of a paddle on the back, and I can't think what it was.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, am I thinking of the Dreamcast? Did the Dreamcast have like a paddly kind of button on the back of it?
Maybe.
Well, they were quite bulky, weren't they?
They were huge controllers, the Dreamcast controllers, yeah. I've definitely seen... I don't think it was that long ago when I've seen it. I feel like it's a recent thing, so...
Are we consulting Google?
I am consulting Google, yes.
Welcome to Button Mashers, talking through how to use a controller, everybody.
The problem is, nobody has any pictures of the back of... There's something that looks like a boomerang. That's not a Dreamcast controller. I don't know what that is. Yeah,
I don't remember the boomerang Dreamcast.
No, it had two... No, because... No, there is a picture of the back of it here. It had 2 triggers.
Oh. Right.
It had a left trigger and a right trigger that were underneath the controller. What the heck am I thinking of then?
Well, it won't be PlayStation.
There's something I feel like that it had that kind of that bulky grip, kind of Dreamcast-like, but then on the underside it had a really big button that you could put like several fingers over and press it. It's a big chunky paddle kind of button.
Is it really old version of a Nintendo?
No, I mean the old Nintendo consoles had really simplistic controllers.
Whatever it is, it clearly didn't take off.
If you know which control pad we're talking about, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, for the love of God, I'm dying to know here. Tell me, for God's sake.
Google has failed us miserably.
Google has, yes. Oh well, yeah. Okay, Michael, have you played Chroma Squad yet?
I started playing it yesterday, yes.
Excellent. What do you think so far?
Oh, I'm loving it.
Good, good.
It's very charming. I quite like the graphics of it. It's very simplistic, but I quite like that.
Yeah, it's good.
I
Good
must
little
say,
starlight.
story-wise, I'm not sure that director's up to much good.
Oh, how far into it are you?
Not far. I've done the first part, and I think I'm just about casting actors now.
Oh, right. So you're literally just about done the tutorial. Okay. I was going to make comments on the story, but it's like the story, such as it is, really doesn't even begin to go anywhere until like season 3.
Oh, right, so I've got to get through 2 seasons.
Oh yeah. You got to go through two. There's just 2 seasons of faffing about making Power Rangers, which isn't in and of itself a bad thing, but there's no real.
It's the appeal.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's literally just, lol, look at these cardboard box monsters, let's fight the cardboard box monsters, lol, let's make a TV show, yay, we're all friends, having fun making a TV show, for like 2 seasons before anything remotely dramatic happens.
Alright, there's a lot of faffing about to get through them.
Yeah, the director does come up again in it, but if you're sort of expecting him to be the big bad, sorry to break it to you.
Alright, I'll stop
He's
worrying.
kind of not.
I'll stop worrying about him then. I was keeping my eye on him.
He will make appearances, and I won't go into what I was going to say for fear of spoilers. I think I need to avoid that.
And I'll give you an update next week and let you know how my seasons are going if I've been cancelled.
Okay. I don't. The criteria for allowing you to continue making the show is monumentally low. So it's like the first season 1 of the show. It's like, as long as you have more than 0 fans, they will let you have season 2.
Well, I'm going to try my best to alienate people.
Oh,
Yeah,
welcome to the 90s.
It doesn't get much more demanding than that. It's like season 2, it's like, you need more than 10 fans to get to season 3.
Whoa,
And then season 3, it's
steady.
you need more than 20 fans. I'm like,
Steady
are
on
you going
10.
to... I was going to say, are you going to move the goalposts at this point? Because at this point, we're talking about having thousands of fans in the game. You have thousands of fans who's like, do you have more than 20? And it's like, yes I do. I don't know if maybe if you play it on hard mode, it becomes a bit more demanding. If you turn the difficulty up to hard, it may be that it's like, oh, you've actually got to strive for some goals to progress things. But on normal difficulty, at the very least, it's like you would have to be the worst player in the world to fail those criteria.
Well, you know my experience with games. I could be the game person that breaks it.
Well, what difficulty are you playing on? Are you on normal mode?
Yeah, I'm on normal, so I'm hoping it works out.
Normal mode's not too bad. I mean, it does say easy mode literally just describes it as pretty much just playing dress up. It's just like,
Yeah.
I think the game is so simple that you don't have to worry about player stats at all. It's literally just pick which items you think will look best on your Power Rangers.
Well, I do want them to look pretty.
Well, it is important. On normal, it describes it as being kind of a balance of being able to pick some aesthetic stuff as well as having to min-max stats. On hard, I think if you make any kind of aesthetic considerations at all, you're probably failing. But I don't know. I don't think I ever really cared too much for the aesthetics. I mean, it's the outfits, the body, kind of the main chunk of the outfit, and the helmet. The only things that actually visually change on the characters. If you change the gloves or boots and stuff like that out, it doesn't seem to make any visual difference to them.
But nah, first impressions of it, I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to playing it a bit more.
Cool. Look forward to seeing what you make of it, because I felt confident in recommending it to you.
Well, I know who to blame if it all goes tits up.
Alrighty. I played Collateral Damage.
Ah.
A little bit.
Was there any collateral damage that you need to tell us about?
I was a cat and I ruined several people's houses.
Wow.
Such was the nature of the game.
You're a terrible, terrible person.
I'm a terrible, terrible cat. Yeah, I don't know what more to say about the game other than it's a cat and you get to fuck shit up. That's literally the game.
Yeah, it does sound fun.
I don't know how much longevity it has.
Yeah, it's probably
It's one of those things that you're like,
game.
yeah, that's fun, and then you're kind of done with it. Maybe it's also probably very much. I think I said this last week. It's very much YouTuber bait.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm actually surprised I haven't seen anywhere near as much as I thought I might see in my YouTube feed of that. You know, normally when something YouTuber bait comes out, usually at least some people that I'm subscribed to will jump on that to go, hey, look, I'm doing the latest YouTuber bait. I'm the only one who did that this time, I guess.
Maybe all the YouTubers had the high standard and went, no, we're not touching that.
Well, I know PewDiePie already did it, but he got like a preview copy ages ago and did it back then, so...
I think PewDiePie will play anything at this point.
No, I think he has standards, but those standards it has to be YouTuber bait. If it doesn't involve the protagonist being toast or a goat, or yeah, it's kind of not his thing. I don't know. Ooh. I don't subscribe to the guy, so I don't really know what he does play these days.
New game that maybe a developer should get on. Goat Toast.
Goat Toast Simulator. You're just a crossover between Goat Simulator and I Am Bread.
Maybe it's...
Are they the same? They're not the same. No, they're not the same guys, are they? No, Goat Simulator was Coffee Stain, wasn't it? And I Am Bread was Bossa, yeah.
Just imagine a piece of toast that's shaped as a goat trying to get to the toaster.
Those two studios do seem like the sort of people who should be doing some sort of collaboration, though.
Yeah, they're missing a trick.
It's like, you both do stupid YouTuber bait. You should do stupid YouTuber bait together.
Well, I think people are too busy with Five Nights at Freddy's 16 or whatever it's on now.
Oh god, that thing. Well, that's PewDiePie bait if ever you wanted one. That's right up PewDiePie's alley, I suspect.
It's his main source of income.
It probably is, yes. Moving on. We touched on briefly Games of Glory last week, and I did get a chance to play that, and it's absolutely not what I hoped it would be. I hoped it was going to be Monday Night Combat. It's not Monday Night Combat, it's League of Legends.
Ah, that's quite...
I don't know how to play League of Legends. I've never played League of Legends. Or Dota, I don't know, one of the two, pick one. I've not played either, really. It's... When I don't know, the gaming pit, the pitch that I got for it was, it's a MOBA crossed with a shooter, and I was like, oh, I've played MOBAs crossed with shooters before. Monday Night Combat was a MOBA crossed with a shooter. I totally want in on that. It's a top-down shooter, not a third-person shooter, though. So you're still clicking and moving it around RTS style. It's kind of different to standard MOBA insofar as there doesn't seem to have the whole kind of lane-pushing creeps kind of thing. It's just 5 heroes versus 5 heroes shooting each other. There's no real... You don't have to progress your minions and farm points from the other enemy team's minions to level up and stuff. It's just killing each other, which is a little non-standard, I suppose. Because it's a more traditional one, I don't feel qualified to say much about it, because I don't know enough about what it's based on to really make any apt comparisons and say what works well and what doesn't work well compared to its competition.
Yeah, but you were a big fan of Monday Night Combat, weren't you?
Oh, I was a huge... I mean, yeah, if it had been Monday Night Combat, I was a huge fan of Monday Night Combat, and I could have very much made the comparison there and said, hey, this is like this, but it does this differently, it does this well, it does this badly, this works, this doesn't, hey, here's my critique of this game. As it is, it's League of Legends, like I say, and I don't know much about those games. I don't know how they play, I don't know the intricacies, I don't know the subtleties, I don't know the mechanics well. So, as it stands, when I'm thrown headfirst into something else that's very, very similar without really knowing the mechanics, I can't tell you what it does well and what it doesn't do well, because I don't know enough about that genre.
Which is fair enough.
I will say that the tutorial is fucking awful, quite frankly. It does not in any way, shape or form teach you how to play the game to any extent. It tells you how the game modes work. It's like, oh, if you stand on this, you will lower the defenses at the enemy team's base and then you could go in and kill it. But it's like, it's the same problem with Dota or League of Legends, is there is quite a lot of complexity to the game. There's a lot of characters, they all have different abilities, they all do different things. Then on top of that, you've got to buy lots of items and things as you upgrade and progress and get different equipment to upgrade your character as you're going along. And I don't know enough about how all that works to really play that well. I'm like, it's time to upgrade your character. It's like, but there are like 20 items to pick. Which is the right one? I don't know.
So you will be sticking with it then?
I don't think I will. I mean, I feel in order to actually do anything with it, I would need to kind of learn these. I would need to learn to play the genre, like, entirely. Which I've not done, which I'm fully aware can be like somewhere between 20 and 50 hours worth of gameplay at least, I think. I mean, stuff like Dota or League of Legends, you need to play a lot of it before you're really particularly familiar with the game at all. And I don't know, again, this is just an obscure MOBA that's come out of a company that's not really well publicized, so there's not a whole lot of people playing it. I would be investing a considerable amount of time to not only learn the game, but learn the genre, for a game that's, well, at this point, I have no idea whether it's going to go anywhere or not. It's certainly not by a big company. I mean, normally the big MOBAs that you hear about, the ones that actually have some degree of success, are usually pushed by a big company with a massive marketing budget. They don't come to me for their marketing, quite frankly.
What a shame. They're missing out.
Yeah, you got Blizzard doing Heroes of the Storm, like EA doing Dawngate. You heard about those because they spent money on marketing them. The people talk about them. They, actually advertise their product.
But they don't have an interview in the Telegraph in August, so.
No. Well, neither does Games of Glory at this point, to be honest. And yeah, Games of Glory is like, well, you can do our marketing for us, please. Something like that is basically why they're coming to me, let's be honest, because they want free marketing out of me. And I was like, yeah, I'm interested in a shooter MOBA because I played Monday Night Combat, but it's not what I expected it to be. It's not Monday Night Combat. I want more of that.
Fair enough.
To make the comparison to a game that does teach you how to play it well, after I got frustrated, I went back and played Awesome Noughts. Turns out I'm really bad at Awesome Noughts these days.
You've lost the skill.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I was ever highly ranked, but I got into it and I was like lost 3 matches straight, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to play Awesome Noughts either now.
So it was a bad gaming experience all around.
It was just a very poor evening, generally speaking, yes.
Oh dear.
So yeah, not great. I still know how to play Nor. It's just like, I don't know how to fight. I don't know how to fight all the new characters they've introduced into Awesome Noughts since last time I played Awesome Noughts. Now all of a sudden there's loads of other people running around, and there's Admiral Swiggins, I think is his name, is like a squid pirate captain thing. I mean, the match I played against someone playing as Admiral Swiggins, he'd been kind of fed and was like, had so much XP, and so it was so powerful that it was crazy trying to fight him anyway. But when he was souped up, it just felt crazy OP. Again, it's probably just the imbalance in the current levels at the time. But he had a thing where he could throw. What would he do? He has kind of a teleport to the player. He throws an anchor at you. If he hits you with it, he teleports to you into melee range, and you get stunned for a second or so, so that you can't move or do anything. So he just gets to lay into you for a moment, and then he can follow that up immediately because you are in point-blank range. He's got another thing where he throws the anchor, and he never misses because he's at point-blank range at that bloody point in time. And if it hits you, you get tethered to the ground. There's literally just a link that says, you aren't allowed to leave this circle now. At which point you just get utterly destroyed by the enemy team. It was like, that wasn't a fun experience. I mean, I play Nor main. I realize part of the meta, as it were, is not a highly rated character. It's generally considered to be a bit of a crap character, but in the low leagues I usually have pretty good success with it because it's just a harassing character. It puts a lot of snares on the enemy, and it drains a lot of enemy health. It's got health steal, it's got damage over time, and it's got a lot of territory denial. It's just harassment and yeah, just being a general annoyance. And normally, yeah, like I say, that I can have good fun just sort of messing with people. It's like, if they're running away from me, I can just put a snare on them and eat them and drain their health over time. And now that's fun, but then this Admiral Swiggins was just utterly... He had more ways to shut me down than I had to shut him down, and it just didn't work. God damn it, I'm not playing any MOBAs anymore. Give up on MOBAs.
He's MOBA'd out.
I am... yes, indeed. Anyway, yeah, that's what I've been playing. There's a couple of other things that I might be looking at doing a review in the next week or so. Well, not review, critique. I use the term... I've said many times I use the term review very, very broadly when I'm referring to what I do. Yeah, but I don't know if I'm ready to take a look at them yet. There's Orbitalis, which is gravity mechanics, because apparently that's flavour of the month for indie games or something. So much shit has done sort of orbital mechanics and gravity and stuff lately. It's like, why is everybody doing that all of a sudden? I don't know, but there's more of that. And Spaceman Sparkles 2 is a weird kind of abstract bullet hell shooter, which is really, 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 really fucking difficult.
So yeah.
I don't hate it, but by God, I'm not good at it.
So yeah, look out for those in the future, guys.
Yeah. Alrighty, that's probably... We're pretty much bang on the 1 hour mark there, actually. It was rather nice, so I think that's a good time to go to a break. Unless you guys have anything else to add? Cool, we'll go to a break, and then we'll come back, and we will do gaming news and upcoming releases for the coming week.
We'll be back after these messages from our sponsors. Button Mash Podcast is back.
Welcome to Button Mash welcome back. Welcome back to the Button Mash Podcast. Those are the things I was trying to say. My brain was addled with tea or something, I think. That must be it.
Excitement, maybe, at the thought that we're going to be discussing gaming news and gossip.
That could also have been it, yes. Let's do some gaming news and gossip.
I was trying to save you.
Okay, cool. Nice save. I suppose we should start with the big news of the week. Big news is Twitch. Twitch have banned adults-only rated games, which is a grand total of 27 games.
Okay.
Can you list them all?
I actually can if you really want me to.
Could you maybe just pick out some key ones? I don't think we need to hear them all.
Are you sure you don't want them all? We have Crystal Fantasy, Playboy Screensaver, The Women of Playboy.
Oh, no.
There's All Nude Nikki, Rihanna Rouge, All Nude Cyber, All Nude Glamour, Wet, The Sexy Empire, The Joy of Sex. There is... I'm
noticing a pattern with these
Playboy
games,
the Mansion Private Party, Lula 3D. I don't think these were the ones that were really targeted by Twitch, though, if we're honest.
Yeah, I've never quite seen that on Twitter advertisements for those particular games on Twitch.
No, really not. There's EF, A Fairy Tale of the Two, which, that one caught my eye insofar as it is a visual novel about rape, which is like, okay, that's, you know, visual novels are usually fairly extreme in the whole sexuality thing. That one is, yeah, that sounds like that's going a bit further than most.
Yeah, that sounds like the correct kind of game that needs banning.
But I'm beating about the bush here. We're missing completely the entire point of this is that Steam released a game earlier this week which received a lot of press over the last few months, which got an adults-only rating, and one generally kind of gets the impression that Twitch were probably looking to ban Hatred.
Ooh, that might cause an issue.
I heard it turned out to be entirely mediocre.
It is, from what I've seen and heard, yeah, entirely mediocre. It's a top-down shooter where you are a guy who's got some really corny, cheesy lines that comes from someone writing some kind of really over-the-top, edgy character who's going on a killing rampage, and he's mowing down...
Gratuitous death, basically.
Sorry? Yeah, that's basically what it is. It is just mowing down hundreds of civilians. It's a murder spree simulator. It's every time you see one of these like school shooting massacres, it's allegedly inspired by that. And places
Grand
like
Theft Auto.
Not so much, because Grand Theft Auto allows you to do that, but doesn't explicitly. Well, one could argue that it doesn't explicitly encourage you to do that. One could also comfortably make the argument that it makes it pretty fun to do that, and in that regard, it does encourage it. But hatred, this is literally the entire game. The only thing you can do in hatred is pull out a chainsaw. Why am I saying chainsaw? Machine gun, or actually, it probably does have a chainsaw. All things considered, pull out a variety of exotic weapons and mow down hundreds of screaming people begging for their lives. And then the police come and start shooting at you, and you can shoot them down as well. And apparently if you go near a gun shop, the civilians will go and get guns and start shooting back at you anyway, so actually it's really... it's not just murdering faceless, screaming people who won't fight back, so... I don't know. It doesn't sound dramatically different to a lot of other games that have existed over the years. It's purely the context of things. It's just the fact that you're told, oh, these are all innocent people and you're murdering them for no reason. It's like, there's plenty of games that have done that. There's no real emotional connection. It's not going to make me go and do a murder spree. It's not training me to go do a murder spree. This guy's got friggin' regenerating health.
Yeah.
It's not realistic in any way, shape or form. It's just a lot of shooting people that we are told are totally innocent and don't deserve to die, but we're going to kill them anyway, because it's literally the only thing we can do in the game. And I think it does stand out on that list of the ESRB's list of adults-only rated games, insofar as I'm pretty sure the overwhelming majority of all the others are there literally because they are porn.
Well, most of the games seem to have the title all nude in front of it, which is somewhat of a giveaway.
There's like a couple of companies there that just seem to pretty much gunning for that rating. There's Peach Princess makes a lot of things, and Mac Daddy Entertainment do the all nude ones, yes.
Yeah, well, it makes sense to find stuff like that, I guess.
I was going to say, I suppose the noteworthy ones that also get targeted, this is, I guess, Twitch kind of covering their asses for future things. It's kind of the way most people have interpreted this is Twitch wanted to ban hatred but didn't want to come out and specifically say, oh yes, we don't want this game, so they've kind of found kind of their cover their ass kind of scenario. So I guess anything in the same... I mean, as we've seen, in the entire time the ESRB has been around, they have only ever rated 27 games as AO, and almost all of them are just porn, which, is kind of reasonable.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, chances are this is almost never going to come up again in the future. It's literally just a sort of a loophole for them to ban hatred without explicitly banning hatred.
It's banned by proxy.
Yeah, there is Manhunt 2, which is I looked into a lot of I'll go through the few of the games there are on this list that get banned by proxy, but I don't see quite how or why, because a lot of these games were kind of AO at one point, but then got tweaked so that they weren't. Manhunt 2 was on consoles, and the whole point of AO ratings is consoles won't... Nobody wants an AO rating, because if you get that rating, consoles won't let you have it. Sony won't let you put an AO game on the PlayStation. Nintendo won't let you put it on a Nintendo console. Microsoft won't let you put it on an Xbox.
Well, it's not that surprising about Manhunt, considering the reputation and history attached to it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Manhunt 2 was on consoles.
Yes, it was.
It didn't get an AO rating on console. I think it only got AO rating on PC.
Yeah.
So I guess it's just the PC version you can't play. If you wanted to stream your Xbox version or whatever, I guess you could. There's GTA San Andreas, but only if you're running the version that has hot coffee, I suppose. There's Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy. I can't say I know enough about that game to say why that one's on there. And... Oh, Leisure Suit Larry, Magna Cum Laude, Uncut and Uncensored.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
That's another one that they released as a mature rating and then later did another version, which was the uncensored version, which got the AO rating. So I guess if you play the censored version, you're still okay there. So it's like these games that are fairly obscure things that have versions that are totally okay to play anyway, all are all kind of banned, I guess, if you play the AO version. And I suppose to a casual viewer on Twitch, I don't know how you would enforce that unless you specifically went and played the Hot Coffee mod and went into one of the sex scenes. That's the only way they could determine which version of GTA you were playing.
Yeah.
I did spot there's a game called Thrill Kill on this list, which said it was for the PlayStation 1. And I was like, well, how did that work? When I looked that up, apparently that game got... EA pulled the plug on that game, like, a couple of weeks before it was due to launch. So, yeah. A lot of these also sound like visual novels, I think, as well, which amuses me no end.
There's probably not a lot of gameplay involved in a couple of them.
I think I know what most of the gameplay is in them. Yes, I suspect I have a hunch.
I think it's more a sit back and enjoy oneself.
Yes, one might not be playing with the game per se, if you know what I mean.
You may not need one's hands on the controller.
we need at least one hand free to scroll the text on.
It's okay, Michael. You can still stream Honey Pop.
You can't.
No,
you can't. That's if you check the article, that is one of the things Twitch has explicitly banned. There are a tiny handful of games that Twitch explicitly say no, you can't play, and one of them is Honey Pop.
Okay.
Well,
so
my Twitch career is over.
Yeah, I was going to say the 3 games that are banned under this new rating, presuming you don't want to watch, the Playboy Mansion screensaver as a game on Twitch or something. How that's under a game rating, I don't know. It's like a screensaver. That makes no sense. You've got Hatred, Fahrenheit, the Director's Cut, and Manhunt 2 Uncut are the 3 games that fall under this ban hammer, as it were. And the 5 games they have explicitly said, no, you are not allowed to play these games. BMX XXX, which I'm astonished that one isn't an AO rating, actually. But yeah, it's literally just topless women riding around on a BMX. Go figure.
That's what it says.
Dramatical Murder, which I had to Google that one. Turns out that is a... I don't know how you pronounce it. Yaoi? Y-A-O-I. How do you pronounce that word? It's gay anime.
Ah, okay.
Or manga or whatever. It's Boys Love, I think is the English equivalent, I suppose. Yeah, it's that, so that probably has some gratuitous gay sex scenes in it, I can only presume. Honey Pop for, well, obvious reasons, I suspect. Sakura Spirits, because that is a visual novel, fairly noteworthy for being pretty gratuitous. I will note that there are like 2 sequels to that as well, also available on Steam, that aren't on this list, which makes no sense. It's like, oh, you can't play Sakura Spirit, but you can play the other Sakura games, which are just as bad, I think. They're pretty explicit as well, but they're okay to play on Twitch, If you want to get some porn on your Twitch channel, just to get the viewers in, yeah, that's game. And Second Life, because actually we talked about Second Life last week, didn't we? I think we talked about Second Life at some point in recent history, which is mostly just people having weird sex as weird creatures in various
Is this an
forms.
Oculus Rift thing?
We may have been talking about it in the context of an Oculus Rift, I guess. No,
I think that's what we were talking about.
But yeah, Second Life has been around for years, though. Second Life's been around for ages. So yeah, there's not many that are actually banned there. Yeah, it's the hatred thing is just really overblown. It's like there's nothing to really. I don't get what the hatred thing's about. I don't get why it's been rated AO in the first place. I mean, most of the controversy around it was just shitty games journalism blowing it up as something bigger than it was.
Any kind of connection to high school massacres, I think, touches a nerve.
A lot of it isn't. Is there anything in the game that actually is specifically a school, though? I mean, the footage I saw was like a political rally. There was like, oh, there's a bunch of people cheering for a politician who was like, the political system's corrupt, I'll teach them. And he runs in and guns people down. It's like, oh, okay, then great. Way to make a point.
It's an effective point.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just not worse than a lot of other stuff that is on Steam. I mean, there is Postal. The original Postal was literally just that Postal 2 and 3 I think went silly with it, but Postal 1 was literally just a murder rampage spree simulator that's available on Steam and you're allowed to stream it on Twitch. And it didn't get an AO rating. And as we've said, this is content that you can pretty much, if you wish to role play an exactly similar situation within something like, I don't know, GTA, you could go and do that as well. I don't know. There's just no reason for it. I don't know why the ESRB hasn't sort of rated it from a neutral standpoint. It almost feels like, I kind of feel like they've been biased by the really excessive negative press, which again is overblown. You've got Polygon doing their whole social justice thing, I guess. Like, oh, enough of this nonsense, down with this kind of thing, sort of thing, which they tend to do. I don't know.
It is very much a context thing. If it were a game about killing zombies, it would have slid right under the mat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The visuals could have been damn near identical.
Exactly.
It's entirely about the context. But like I say, even given the context, there are games which are similar, identical, if not even worse, that already exist, that didn't get an AO rating, weren't critically destroyed in the press as being literally Hitler and the devil combined, and given an AO rating by the ESRB. It makes no sense.
Yeah, well, that's just shows you what the power of the press can do, I guess.
It's, I mean, as many other people have already observed, the sales for Hatred are going to be way in advance of what they have any right to be. As you say, it's a very, very mediocre game that, frankly, if the press hadn't been talking about it non-stop for the last 3 weeks, about how absolutely terrible this game was and how it was going to corrupt every human being and force them to go and do murder sprees the moment they see the game would literally have gotten no media attention, probably not even have warranted being rated by the ESRB at all, and would have sold very, very poorly, and nobody would even know what it was. Nobody would have heard of the game if it weren't for the fact that Polygon have been talking about how absolutely terrible it is and how it is the devil for so frickin' long. And now everybody knows what it is and has heard of it, and a lot of people will probably go out and buy it. So
we live in a culture now where people are afraid of things like this happening because, fortunately, they have. So maybe that's why. I mean, it's self-promotion for the game. I'm sure the game developers aren't complaining about it.
Oh, I'm sure the developers are not complaining in the slightest. No, it's just it's strange and self-defeating. I mean, I realize that from a business standpoint, hey, clickbait, great. People are reading our articles, therefore we make money. But at the same time, if you genuinely wanted to take a moral stand against Hatred, the best thing you could possibly do is not write a negative article about it. The best thing you would do is to not give it any attention at all. If you wish to see Hatred die and never be played by anybody, the best thing you could possibly have done would be never to have written an article about it in the slightest. Never to give it...
That's not how journalism works.
It's not how journalism works. No, it's the worst and most negative actually get a lot of press and therefore actually are kind of successful because they've gotten a lot of press. Congratulations, Polygon, you're doing a fucking stand-up job. Oh well.
Yep.
Let's go look at another Polygon article.
Yeah, we are slightly hypocritical.
Honestly, I go to Polygon for the articles because I genuinely don't know of any other. Can someone recommend me a news site that's not absolutely disastrously bad? Because I really think I don't know if there are any good ones out there.
That's a number one for the comments.
Yeah, please, because I started reading Polygon when they launched, because when Polygon launched, they started doing good content. They established themselves and built themselves around doing good content. And then after they've been up and running for maybe about a year or so, they put out a post that said, "Oh, by the way, high quality good journalism doesn't pay the bills. We're going to have to do shitty clickbait now." I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's basically things. Yeah,
that's just what the title of the article was called.
Yeah, when they launched, they were like, "Oh, we're going to do these well-researched, well-developed, really well-thought-out and well-written." A lot of it was kind of personal pieces, like they would go and interview people and learn the background of life. And I know one of the first people they did was Kelly Wallach from the Indie Mega Booth, and they had this really great, huge article about Kelly Wallach and everything she'd done and everything she'd built up around the Indie Mega booth. And that was a really great article. I was like, that's where I first found Polygon, to be honest. And I thought that was really cool. And they did some other stuff. They did some other stuff with other noteworthy people in the games industry. And then they've just kind of turned into, let's talk about hatred and destiny and write 4 articles in the span of 5 minutes about one Nintendo thing. As they did today, you know.
Which segues nicely into...
Not what I was going to talk about?
Oh, then I apologise.
No, it doesn't. E3 this year will admit thousands of fans, it says, which is, I guess, a first. I mean, historically speaking, EA used to get a lot of fans insofar as it. I seem to recall way back in the day, it wasn't terribly hard if you had any remote connection to anyone in the industry whatsoever. You could usually snag yourself a ticket one way or another.
It wasn't that difficult, I seem to recall.
Then I can't remember when they did it. A few years back, I guess they cracked down on that, and they were like, okay, now we're only going to do very, very few tickets for this. I think it was only like, it's only like 4,000 or 5,000 tickets total, and these need to go specifically to, the press. This is a press event. We're doing this entire event for the press. We don't want thousands and thousands of fans sneaking in just to see all the latest and greatest games. It's kind of built up a bit again over the last few years, but it's still technically, strictly speaking, a press thing. It's an industry thing for people in the industry to market to the press. And I guess this is the first year they've actually opened the doors and said, "Hey, public, you can actually buy a ticket now."
It's like someone's worked out they can make money with us.
Yeah, well, there's probably an element of that. I'm just intrigued because I'm wondering if it's going to change the nature of E3 at all, because a lot of people who go to E3 are always like, E3's really horrible because it's literally you are just being sold product to all the time. I mean, I obviously go to PAX every year, and PAX is a much better experience because, yes, there are people trying to sell to you, but at the same time, the whole thing is run by gamers for gamers, so it's a much more pleasant experience. It's a thing you would want to go to for fun, but a lot of press that go to these things, it's just soul-destroying, and it's just constant. It's just like being bombarded with adverts constantly, because it literally is. So I've never thought it sounded like a sort of thing that you'd want to go to as a fan, necessarily.
Yeah, but it depends if the kind of fan base they're probably going people that buy every version of FIFA or whatever. Yeah. So they probably want to see what the new blades of glass look like.
Well, yes, I suspect there's
people can be quite obsessive about things like that. So I suspect they would get an audience if they are opening it up.
Yeah, true. I'm just very intrigued as to whether it's actually going to change EA at all. I mean, if they're suddenly saying, hey, public is actually going to come into it, is it going to become something closer to PAX or Eurogamer? Are they going to be steering in that direction? Or even if not explicitly, if E3 has not explicitly changed its direction, are the people who are buying space at E3 going to change their approach to E3 and run it close to something like Eurogamer, where it's like, we know there's going to be public in here looking at our thing, so we're now going to cater more to the public than to press?
Well, this might just be an experiment to see how it goes, and maybe we'll get that in the future.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Certainly. I think it would be interesting to see how that one unfolds, more so than anything else.
That's one to keep an eye on.
Oh, yeah, there's a nice graph on that Polygon article, which is to say in 2007 they cut down the attendance to a mere 10,000 people it was. Actually, then 2008 they cut it down to 5,000 people.
Wow.
Prior to that, in 2006 it was 60,000, and in 2005 there were 70,000 people went. Just to put that into some sort of perspective. In the last few years, it's been hovering around the 50,000 people mark since 2009. I don't know how many they're expecting this year, but yeah, even if it's 50,000 people, it's about 10% of the people there are going to be fans and not press. Which again, I suppose you need to factor that in. Is it going to be worth? Exhibiting to those specific people? Just an interesting experiment, as you say. It's like I think it would be interesting to see what comes of it. Anyway, that's mostly what was interesting. Did you want to get into the Nintendo stuff? Because you seemed like you might have done.
No, it's fine.
Because Nintendo announced a lot of things. They're doing some things. Go see the Nintendo things.
Go follow Nintendo.
Yes, let's do some gaming releases then.
No gaming releases for the week.
Starting today, Hatred is out today.
It all ties together.
Yep. So we kind of just talked about what that is. It's a very mediocre top-down shooter, and it's not worth talking about really, but obviously a lot of people are talking about it.
Unless you're afraid.
Apparently the destruction physics is very impressive. That's about the only noteworthy thing it's got going for it. There's a lot of destructible scenery, and you can blow a lot of things up, and it's quite impressive for what it is. Beyond that, it's distinctly mediocre.
Cool.
Massive Chalice, which is one of those Double Fine Kickstarter things. It's a single-player, turn-based tactical strategy game. I can only presume it must actually be finished, which is impressive for something Double Fine have made lately. Hey!
It's coming out on Xbox One, so you'd hope so.
That's good. Yeah, that's true. I don't think Xbox One has an early access program, does it?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Actually, that's it. They have been selling it through early access on Steam up till now, have they not?
Yeah.
Yes, actually, yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, this game was officially released after being on Steam early access on Xbox One on June 1st, 2015. So, yeah. It was on early access. I guess it must be done now. Cool. Lord of Magna, Made in Heaven.
Anime.
Which is anime. It is a strategy RPG. Cool. I like strategy RPG.
Particularly anime strategy RPGs.
I won't object to an anime strategy RPG. Although this doesn't look like any strategy RPG I've ever played. This looks really weird. This looks more like this looks really like Reciteer of all things, actually. It looks really heavily. There's like the font and the style and everything. I swear to God, that looks so much like Reciteer. That's crazy.
Are we sure it's not Reciteer?
I'm fairly sure, because I'm not sure... I mean, I've talked about this in the past. I'm not sure what the hell Carpe Fulgur are doing these days. I mean, I follow the dev on Twitter, but he never has anything interesting to say about any games that he's working on. And indeed, more concerningly, once in a blue moon, you get tweets from him about being ostracized from the game development community, and I'm like, what the hell have you done? It's like, I hope you haven't been ostracized from the game development community and stopped making games, because I really liked the games you made.
I think he's probably threatened to kill someone on Steam.
I hope not, because I really liked Reciteer. I would like more things like Reciteer. That's strange and interesting. It is for the 3DS, so I'm not going to be able to play it, but...
Yeah.
If I had a 3DS, it's the sort of thing I would be having a look at, because I do like strategy RPG stuff. The Escapists is Team 17, so we'll give that one a miss. Super Exploding Zoo, PlayStation 4 and Vita.
I do like the name.
It is an action puzzle game where you use herds of explosive animals to fend off alien invaders. It sounds like tower defense. I think it's tower defense.
Because if aliens are attacking animals are the best course of action.
Well, if plants can defeat zombies, I don't see why animals can't defeat aliens.
Let's explode pandas.
Screw animals being endangered. Get the dynamite in them.
I'm looking at the screenshots. I'm not even seeing where are the animals in all. They're very stylized animals that look really weird. I thought they were the aliens because the animals look so freaky.
It's because they're full of dynamite.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. They literally have a fuse sticking out the back of their head. They are bombs. All of the animals are bombs. How come this game has not been attacked by Peter yet? This is a game literally about inflating animals with high explosives and lighting a fuse on their back.
Maybe Peter are taking your own marketing advice and just ignoring it.
That's not how Peter operate, and you know it.
I know, but one can hope.
I was just saying, the animals seem surprisingly delighted about their impending demise, though.
It's that dynamite lobotomy.
I think they're aware that they're stuck through dynamite and they just want the experience over.
It would be sort of a more grim kind of look on their face, though, I feel, than just that gurning grin. I don't know.
Boundless joy.
Renegade. Renegade was released in May 1986. This is now out on the PlayStation 4 because they're continuing their rampage of just jamming all the ancient games they can onto that platform right now, it seems. On PlayStation 3, we have Class of Heroes 2G, which is also anime. It's a first-person party-based PSP dungeon crawler. It's from 2010. Anime dungeon crawling.
Yeah.
Tetris Ultimate.
It is Ultimate Tetris then.
I don't know how one makes Tetris Ultimate, to be honest. I don't know what...
and lots of fire.
That would
Tetris with fire, yeah. That must
would
be it.
soup up Tetris, yeah.
I think most people probably know what Tetris is at this point, so moving on. Ooh, Skulls of the Shogun Bona Fide Edition for PS4. That's a really cool little title. I played that a while back. That came out on XBLA in fucking ages ago. It says January 2013. I feel like it was up further back than that. I feel like it's older than that. Maybe not, though? I don't know. It involves a skeleton samurai, and it's a turn-based... Not turn-based, it's a... Oh, it is, yeah. It's a turn-based strategy thing. I can't remember whether it's turn-based or real-time. Yeah,
Available on the PS4.
It is now on the PS4. It's been out on PC for ages. It's been out on Xbox for a while. By the looks of it, it's also been out on iPad and Windows Phone for a little while as well.
Alright.
And, yeah, that's actually a pretty fun game. It's got a cool style. It's got some cool gameplay. I like that. I can happily recommend Skulls of the Shogun. We have Sparkle Unleashed, which...
What a terrifying name.
Is... That's Zoomer. That is literally just Zoomer, isn't it? There's not even a screenshot. They have the title screen. They only have the title logo there, but I can tell from the logo that's Zoomer.
Yeah.
That is just Zoomer by another name. It's a big line of coloured balls, and if you match the coloured balls up, they get deleted, and you need to get rid of all the coloured balls before you lose. Adventures of Pip for the Wii U and PC. 2D side-scrolling adventure. Because we don't have enough of those in our lives.
Well, one more will never hurt anyone.
One more of them oversaturates a genre. You Must Build a Boat. Ooh,
okay.
This is the follow-up to 10 Million, which I played obsessively for like a day. And then finished it. And was really glad I finished it because it was so fucking addictive.
This one will be equally as addictive.
Probably. I think it looks like it's more of the same, and a little bit of me is like, ooh, I'm going to play that. And I'm like, I really shouldn't. I absolutely should not play that.
You're going to have to set aside a day.
It's match 3. It's just it's match 3 RPG stuff. Well, if it's similar to the last one, I think it is. It's match 3 RPG stuff, which is really compelling. And it's one of those games where it's like, oh, just one more go, just one more go. In 10 Million, it was like, oh, you get points for matching things, but then you get upgrades and multipliers and upgrades and multipliers, and you could make further progress more and more and more, and eventually you get to a point where you get to 10 million and you win the game by getting 10 million points. And yeah, you need to play it for a while to get that many upgrades to actually get there. I should not play this. It's really addictive. Wonder is a game I'm sure we looked at some point before.
Yes, this has been pushed back.
No, this
right.
is a PS4 release, isn't it? So maybe
is
it's already out.
I saw it on.
It's on the Steam list.
I was going to
as
say
well.
I can tell you it's on the Steam list as well. Yeah. So this is a non-combat, non-competitive MMO apparently, which I definitely recall having seen and gone, ooh, that sounds interesting. I wonder how that works before.
Mm.
And I still wonder how that works. I'm still not quite clear how that works. It still sounds interesting, though. I'm going to have to go poke them about a review copy of that one, I think. D4, Dark Dreams Don't Die. Which looks... I'm not sure what this is. I looked at this on Steam earlier as well, because it's out on Steam. It looks... I don't know what this looks like.
I remember one of the tags on the Steam was awesome soundtrack.
Yeah, a lot of things have awesome soundtrack. I feel like that's a very subjective thing, though.
I don't know. I was thinking,
It's like,
yeah, I'll be the judge of that. Actually,
I'll say, who's based on whose musical tastes is this tag going on here? You know. I don't know what to make of this. It's made by the same guy who did Deadly Premonition, which I actually didn't play, so I don't know much about that one. It's an episodic adventure game following the surreal mystery of David Young, a private detective with the power to dive into past events in order to investigate the murder of his wife.
Okay.
Which sounds like it goes into maybe not entirely dissimilar territory to something like Life is Strange.
Yeah.
yeah, I can see where you're pulling that from.
But I don't know. I really don't know what's... The screenshots are thoroughly and entirely unhelpful.
No.
That's one that I guess... If you want to know more about that, you're going to have to find a review, because we can't make anything out of that.
We've been bamboozled.
We have been bamboozled. Speaking of Life is Strange while we're at it, last week we threatened to go on a massive spoiler-filled rampage.
Oh, this is true. I didn't play it again. I didn't have time. I was too busy sculpting.
Oh, right. Okay. Well,
maybe next week.
Maybe next week. We have The Swapper, which also has been out on PC for a while, I guess. That's been out since 2013. Really? Is that old? That's nearly as old as, allegedly, Skulls of the Shogun. And I thought Skulls of the Shogun was much older than The Swapper. You are an astronaut where you can make like clones of yourself and then swap between control of the clones.
Yeah.
And then there's some weird kind of slightly morbid puzzle where you're just walking over piles of your clones that have died and stuff. And it was like, okay, it's a bit dark.
Pretty horrific how you can sacrifice yourself over and over and over again.
Yeah, pretty grim. That brings us to the end of those releases. Shall move on to some Steam now, I suppose. We seem to have lost Michael for the moment. I imagine he'll be back in just a moment. We need someone to do an intro for it, but I don't think we're going to get it. So moving on, we've got Riddled Corpses, which is an anime thing. Anime pixel-arty bullet hell shooter-y thingy. Looks like a lot of bullet hell shooters I've played before, but certainly don't dislike the look of it. Kind of got a dark kind of aesthetic. I mean, I guess with a name like Riddled Corpses, you'd kind of expect such a thing.
It makes sense.
It claims it has brutal chiptune music.
Wow.
I don't know, because I can't turn the sound on, otherwise it will be captured and ruin the podcast, so I don't know. I guess you have to go watch the trailer and judge for yourself whether it has a brutal chiptune soundtrack or not. Voyage to Farland is a tough-as-nails turn-based graphical dungeon crawler inspired by the cult Japanese mystery dungeon games. Which, that looks awful.
Not fun.
Are you seeing these screenshots?
Yes, I am.
That does not look very good. Okay, yeah, I had heard good things about the Mystery Dungeon series. I don't know much about them, but until someone was like, oh yeah, it's kind of a roguelike, and they did a Pokemon version of it, and I was like, they made a Pokemon roguelike? What?
Why have we not heard about this?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't think it was marketed as such. It was like, oh, it's one of these Pokemon spin-off games. And I was like, okay, well, you made enough of those. That's fine. Make more. Good on you. People will buy them. If I'd known it was a Pokemon roguelike, I might have given it more time of day, I suppose. I guess when they first launched it, I don't think I would have known what a roguelike was. Roguelikes had not really taken off in the way they currently have when Pokemon Mystery Dungeon first came out. Hey-ho. We have Card Dungeon, which also looks pretty low res. Not as rough as the last one, but I don't know. It's kind of got a board card and board game inspired turn-based roguelike thing. It looks a lot like Mario Party in places. In some places.
Yeah, I can see that actually.
Interesting style. I don't think it's necessarily grabbed me to any extent. Don't know how it works. It's definitely a mobile port, I can tell you that now. Because all the reviews come from stuff like... All the reviews say it's one of the most addictive iOS games. It's like, oh god damn it.
That usually indicates that mobile port, yeah.
Yeah. Gunslugs is a wacky, chaotic action game with a roguelike, permadeath, unlockable heroes, Time Lord, chicken guns, Donkey Kong levels, Game Boy levels. I feel like I've heard of Gunslugs somewhere before, but I can't think where the heck it was. It may have been at PAX at some point. It's kind of reminding me a lot of Broforce, actually.
Oh yeah, I see where you're going.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like Johnny Bravo in Broforce.
Yeah, kind
Johnny
of.
Bravo.
It's 2D run and gun and really chaotic, lots of things exploding and chaos going on in a pixel art style, so it's very Broforce. Yep. Okay. We have Organ Biker. It's a modern retro arcade style motorcycle action and internal organ delivery game.
Is that another simulator then?
No, because it looks like if you look at the trailer, it's like super arcadey. It's got fake scan lines and everything going on. It's got the fake CRT. I hate it when games do the fake CRT thing. I really do.
Okay, right.
If I wanted it on a CRT, I'd be playing it on a CRT. I can do it. Pixel art's fine, but when you try and do the fake scan lines, I don't like that. So yeah, it's a very strange kind of retro-y, arcadey kind of thing going on, I guess. I don't know, that's necessarily the kind of thing that would appeal to me. Rescue 2 Everyday Heroes, which again, I'm sure this is a simulator. I'm pretty sure we looked at this before at some stage, have we not? Or was that Rescue 1 Everyday Heroes?
I'm sure we have talked about this before.
There's been a fair few fire brigade simulators recently.
I think this is more than just a fire brigade, isn't it? Or is it? I'm not sure. Oh. Yeah, it might just be fire brigade. I got the impression it was like all emergency services, but I don't know. I'm just seeing a lot of fire engines in the trailer, so I guess it must be. It comes with various types of fires. That's one of the claims.
How can you... Oh, so
I'm pretty sure that's what they said. I'm pretty sure that's what they said about Airport Firefighter Simulator as well. It was like, comes with multiple different kinds of fire. That did come with a picture of them fighting a blue fire at one point. So yeah, it's like, it has red fire and it has blue fire.
The fire just changes colour from time to time depending on...
It depends on what's burning, I suppose.
You've got to know if it's electrical or...
This is true, it's true, yeah.
Oil or carbon-based.
You need to know which kind of thing to spray on the thing.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's a little bit more interesting than the airport one, in which it literally involved finding a burning bin and using a fire extinguisher on the burning bin. Which was probably not the most exhilarating of gameplay.
Do you not have a pyromaniac simulator?
Would
Would that not be a lot more fun than this?
Pretty sure that must exist, surely. I'll tell you what, actually, yes, it does exist, insofar as there is an archer-themed one.
What?
Okay, gonna go on a tangent here. Are you familiar with the existence of an archer-themed alternate reality game?
Vaguely.
Okay, yeah, it's probably still ongoing. There were, like, clues to an ARG scattered throughout the episodes, probably, starting in, Season 5, I think.
I'd heard about this, but I couldn't be bothered to follow it all the way through.
It's one of those things where the rabbit hole goes so deep, you're literally on the other side of the planet. Yeah, at some point, a couple months back, maybe not even that, someone uncovered Dr. Krieger's website.
Okay.
And it had a pressing a button kind of thing on it. It was like, the claim was, we've found an alien broadcast, and we need to brute force hack into the encryption to decode the alien message, and this button needs to be clicked 1 million times, but that's collectively between everybody who's clicking on it, but each person is only allowed to click on the button once every 30 seconds. So it had this little bar that went up, and it to be fair, I think the whole thing was done in about 24 hours, which I thought it might have been a bit quicker than that, but hey. And then if you clicked on that, it was like, oh, thanks for clicking the button. Here's the login name and password for this website. So that you could click on the login in the corner and log in, and it brought up a load of stuff, and we just got into all of Krieger's files and whatever his hologrammatic wife is called. I can't remember her name offhand.
I can't actually either.
No, if it's even referred to in the episodes at any point, which it may not be. Either way, it gives you a login for that. If you go into his hologrammatic wife's stuff, there's a lot of Archer tentacle porn. And there's like, I can't remember. There's some weird. It was like an Archer anime, like just like the screenplay for an Archer anime series, which, by the way, looked fucking awesome, and I hope they make it. And if you went into Krieger's, there was one of the files was a web game in which it was just one level. I think it was just the one level in which you played Cheryl or Carol, whichever it is, and she has to burn down the office, and you need to set everything in the office on fire and get to the lift before burning to death.
Does sound like a lot of fun.
Well, like I say, it was just one level. Once you figured out how to do that level, it's like, that's literally it. There's no more game. That's it. That's all there was. It's a shame. If they put some time and effort into that, they could have probably done something with that. I'm quite sure. But for what it is, it's quite a cute little addition. And then there's also a link to Krieger's Flickr account, which is all kinds of disturbing.
I can imagine.
Understandable.
Yeah. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff in there. And then there's some stuff that I don't think I knew. I think there's stuff that I couldn't figure out what it was, which I presume is part of the ARG. There'll be some hidden stuff for people to decode and stuff, but yeah. That's a long-winded way of saying someone somewhere did make a arson simulator.
Well, thank you.
But it wasn't Rescue 2.
Well, no. And they'll need to do a crossover promotion in which Rescue Everyday Heroes go and put out ISIS. Or what? Do they have a name now?
Surely they won't be able to call themselves ISIS anymore.
Well, no, because at the start of season 7, like one of the first scenes in it, they show two guys in the background taking down the ISIS logo off the wall and taking it out of the office.
Yeah.
And I don't recall them ever giving it a new name. They were just like, "Hey, we're not calling it ISIS anymore." That was it. I mean. They didn't. In fact, they never even officially said that. The only part of it that says that they did that was the guys taking the logo off the wall. That's basically just like in the background. Hey guys, we're not calling it that anymore. That name kind of doesn't work for us now. I don't think they ever renamed it though. It's just now just some organization.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna have to rewatch it all. That's a good excuse.
Yeah, that works.
I'm not quite at season 5 yet, so.
All right. Well, much more to go. Christ, where the hell were we?
Colour Assembler.
Colour Assembler is where we're at, which may be something about assembling colours.
No, you don't think?
It's an abstract colour mixing puzzle game.
Ah.
You connect the colours to various shapes that manipulate the colours in their unique way in order to create the target colour.
Sorry, I was bored, Rigid. What?
Yeah, I was gonna say, it sounds potentially mildly interesting, but it doesn't sell it very well. I'd be intrigued to have a look at it, but I'm not a big one for puzzle games at the best of times anyway, so... I don't know. Intriguing enough. We have... The Enchanted Cave 2, which is
about cave?
a dungeon crawling thing, another roguelikey thing. Because, you know, we haven't got enough of those yet. I'm not sure what differentiates this from anything else. It says it has an endless supply of monsters and loot. Is it just infinite then? Oh dang! It has music by Grant Kirkhope. What? No way. That's the guy who did the soundtrack to Banjo-Kazooie. I need to play this now. Just because the music is going to be incredible.
He started mocking it and now he's in love.
I still don't think the game looks interesting. Can I just buy the soundtrack on its own? The soundtrack's bound to be good. This is also the guy who's doing the soundtrack to Ukulele. Or at least some of it. We have Galaxy Union, which is Forex stuff. Economic-based Forex. Someone else did that like a week ago, did they not? There was a Forex game that was like, oh yes, it's all based around economy. And I was like, Forex is about spaceships blowing each other up. Economy sounds kind of boring. I don't know. I'm sure there's quite definitely a market for it. Economy, I'm not sure is my thing though. I like Master Orion. You can build Death Stars and literally blow up planets. What can I say? I've never seen no one's done a game that really scratches the Master of Orion itch for me. I always hope someone will, but I don't think the economic ones are going to do the job. We have... What else we got? Supercharged Robot Volkaiser! Whatever one of those might be.
Yeah, that's slightly worried.
It is a giant robot anime-inspired side-scrolling shooter from the creators of Satasius and Gigantic Army. And it's it's a side-scrolling shooter. It looks a lot like a lot of side-scrolling shooters with a very 70s anime style thing going on. I'm not sure whether I like the look of that or not, to be honest. It's definitely my genre. But the gameplay looks like a lot of other shooters I've ever played in my life. It's just like, yep, that's a shooter. Oh well. We got the Vector Wars, which I can't find on Steam now. There it is. Is a first-person cyber shooter tribute to classic arcade blasters such as Battlezone, Berserk, and Robotron. It's in 80s 3D Vector Vision TM.
I played something very similar to this as a kid. I loved it. I can't remember what it was called. It was probably one of those 2. 3.
I definitely recognise the style that they're going for, but I'm not sure I ever did play anything of the sort.
It was exactly this, but it was a tank, and you had to hunt another tank.
One of those enemies is literally the things in Tron. They've literally just taken enemies from Tron.
Well, why not?
I mean, I was just thinking, this looks kind of like Tron, and then there was like one of the enemies that started shooting at it, and I was like, no, that literally is Tron at this point. Okay. I guess if you're into that kind of thing, it seems like that's preying on nostalgia a little bit. It's not nostalgia I have. Okay, Vector Wars. Next up we have the Architect, which is a puzzle platform apparently. It's a grid of squares that are different heights. And a sci-fi abstract labyrinth game, The Edge of Creation. I don't know what's going on in that one. It's a puzzle thing, I guess.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Okay, well, moving on. We have Starhammer the Vanguard Prophecy, which is a 3D tactical space combat. Okay, this seems like a sort of thing we've seen stuff of recently. So I guess, what was the one they just remade? There was something that fits that bill. Feel free to jump in, guys.
I can't remember.
Thanks.
The only thing that's coming to mind is Gratuitous Space Battles.
Space Battles.
Yeah.
It's not what I was thinking of now. Oh well. Homeworld, I think, is what I was thinking of, was it not? Homeworld, yeah. They remade that, so that's... I feel like a lot of people kind of maybe... I don't know. I also think Homeworld kind of popped out. No, I didn't realise they were remaking that till then. I was like, oh, is this now... Everybody's like, oh, this is now a thing? Space strategy? I don't know. There's some space strategy for you. At any rate. Got Duck Game.
It's about ducks, by any chance.
It is... Was this not on our release list last week? Yes, it is about ducks.
I'm so sure we've done this before.
Because this is because this is Adult Swim duck-based arena brawler thing. Ducks with guns shooting each other and trying to blow each other up. Yes. It looks silly fun, to be honest. I quite like the look of it. I know Fixer keeps going on and on about it. I got Wander, which we already been over. That's the MMOE, not MMOE thing. I don't know what the hell it is. We've got Tile Rider, which is a game where you control a small car equipped with a weapon and a magnet gadget.
It's Robot Wars.
Yes, I guess. Describes it as a puzzle thing. I think it's Robot Wars, the puzzle game.
Oh God.
Which doesn't really sound all that compelling, if I'm honest. We've got Silvio. Silvio is first-person horror adventure. I'll defer to our expert on such matters on that one.
Don't know. Not entirely sure what I'm looking at. I see a dead bird on a table.
A dead bird on a table? Oh, the screenshot. Oh, yeah, I see the one.
Yeah.
It's not quite I see dead people, is it?
It's ghost hunting or something. You play a ghost recorder, Juliet Waters, who's trespassing into a family park closed in 1971 and finds herself trapped in an old basement.
Not the basement.
And will the recordings help her make it through the night?
No.
Oh, you're wandering around with a microphone trying to capture ghosts, I guess. Okay.
I'm not sold.
No. No, I wasn't, and then I saw her trying to follow a bird in a car.
And then you were totally sold.
Oh, yeah.
You want that bird following simulator.
How do you think I get to work in the morning?
We have Wimp, Who Stole My Pants? Which is an interesting name, if nothing else.
Yeah. I'm intrigued.
This appears to be some sort of indie platformer thing. About some strange blob. I'm not sure why the blob needs pants. It's a blob. It is literally it's pretty much green and spherical. I don't know how it wears pants, but yeah.
Yeah. Blobs can have pants too, I guess.
Blob needs his blob pants. You need to go get them back by platforming around. Okay.
Yeah. Well.
The description is just exploring the awesome world.
Okay. Right.
Just keeping it simple, I guess.
It's not blinded with information, I guess.
Now, we have Tap Heroes, which, if that's not a name that doesn't scream iOS, I don't know what does. Yeah, let me just tap the things on my PC. Oh wait, no, I won't, because we don't do touchscreen. Well, I guess some people do touchscreens, but they're strange. Most PCs don't do touchscreens. Oh god, this is this is a clicker. This is literally just a clicker game. Ew, no. Gross. Just click enemies until they die, and then keep clicking things until more things die, and then keep clicking until more things die. And no, that's not gameplay. How is that on Steam? Steam, Jesus Christ, could you do some curation?
Oh dear.
D4 Dark Dreams Don't Die, we've already kind of glanced at, still got no idea what it is. Steam's not much more helpful. And
Death Pirate.
Death Pirate kind of sits in a weird place on Steam, because for some reason it was showing up in amongst the June the 4th stuff, but it's actually flagged as being June the 6th, which is a Saturday, and Steam doesn't let games release on a Saturday, so what in the name of Christ? I don't think that's going to work. It is a mix of shoot-em-up and RPG with a gripping story and an original soundtrack, allegedly.
Allegedly?
You fly through the city of Uth Town to unravel the mystery of the Death Pirates. Not sure what I'm looking at. Is this? I guess it's a shooter thing. It looks like it is potentially a side-scrolling shooter thingy, but it's not necessarily abundantly clear. I guess I should watch the trailer. No, there isn't. Is there a trailer? Do they have a trailer? I guess they have a trailer. I don't know whether that's going to enlighten me or not.
We're about to find out.
Actually, tell you what, it looks even stylistically, it's a little bit reminiscent of a game I played a while back called Victor. A little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. Victor was quite good. I'm not convinced this looks quite as good. Oh well, there you go. I was going to release on Saturday, except it probably won't because they're going to get to a nasty surprise on Saturday. I'm quite sure.
We might mention it next week.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I've seen games that are like, yeah, we're going to do a Saturday release, and then Saturday rolls around, and they're like, ah, shit, Steam won't let us release. Next week. Yep, seen that happen before. I think that's going to happen there.
Yeah, but most likely.
Anyway, that brings us to the end. So, and we're once again pretty damn close to the 1 hour mark. It's pretty on cue this week.
Yeah, we're
on good form. Well done, sirs.
We're timing it well.
Alright, would you like to tell the good people about what we do and where they can find the things?
Why not? Thank you very much for listening to the podcast. We really do appreciate it. If you want to find out more about Button Mash, you can find us at Facebook at
facebook.com/buttonmash.
Find us on Twitter at
twitter.com/button_mash_UK.
Find our website at
button-mash.net.
Find our presence on Steam at
bits.ly/bmsteam.
If you want to give John his dagger recipe and maybe give him a little bit of money so that he can get on with that, you can find his Patreon series at
patreon.com/buttonmash.
And if you want to find out more about the last Button Mash event we did and maybe anything in the future, we do have an event page. You can find it on Facebook, or you can look at those Telegraph and Argos links that we gave out earlier.
We kind of didn't give out any links, but hey.
Put them in the description.
Type in.
I could do that potentially, yes.
Look in the description for those links.
Okay.
Once again, thank you very much for listening to the podcast on behalf of myself and on behalf of John.
Thank you.
On behalf of Will.
Thank you.
This has been the Button Mash Podcast. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Jerry, bye.